Now we start another chapter, that is chapter number 14, ecosystem of the NCERT book. So in this chapter, we discuss the structure of the ecosystem, we discuss the function of the ecosystem, and then the different components of the ecosystem, how the ecosystem has been made, right? I mean, the components of the ecosystem that includes the producers, consumers, decomposers, etc. So we discuss what are the different correlations between them. Then we discuss how the energy which is there in the form of light, right, is converted into the food by the producer organisms, right, and how this energy has been flow from the producer to the consumers and then into the decomposers we discuss, right? And in that we discuss the different pyramids also, how the different pyramids are there, then ecological succession, then nutrient cycle, right? And finally we discuss the ecosystem and their services, right? Okay, so this is pretty interesting chapter, and this is very simple chapter, but line by line again we should discuss so that the questions from the NEET examination or in the board examination will be solved very easily. So first thing is that how we define the ecosystem, right? So first we call this ecosystem as the functional unit of nature, right? We can call the ecosystem as functional unit of the nature, first thing. And ecosystem is nothing but the place where the living organisms interacts with their surrounding physical environment, that is the non-living component. When ecosystem is the branch of science in which we discuss the interaction between the living organisms and their surrounding environment, or we can more precisely say the surrounding physical environment, right? So that is ecosystem. And this ecosystem will vary from a very small space, like small entity like pond. I mean, we can see in the pond the many living organisms, they interact with the non-living organisms. Living organisms means the phytoplankton, the small plants which is there inside the pond or on the bank of the pond, fish and other aquatic organisms, right? They interact with the water, sunlight, temperature, right? And finally they constitute the very small ecosystem. Even we can say, no doubt the pond is the natural ecosystem, but aquarium inside our home, we can also call them ecosystem, but that is man-made ecosystem, we can say, right? We provide each and everything over there, right? If it is self-sustainable, then there is no problem, right? So the ecosystem is nothing but the functional unit of the nature, right? And some scientists, they mention that entire earth is the global ecosystem, right? And this entire ecosystem is made up of the, it is the all the natural resources on this planet earth along with the living organisms, they interact, so they call them the entire earth is the ecosystem, right? So the ecosystem would be the terrestrial ecosystem, it may be the aquatic ecosystem, right? Terrestrial ecosystem includes forest ecosystem, grassland ecosystem, right? Desert ecosystem. Aquatic ecosystem, they may be pond, lake, right? Like that. So first we try to understand ecosystem, right? And now you can start reading from line by line so that we can come to know what are the different things in the NCERT book. So Kosha is there, so can you read? Can you start
Yes,
reading?
sir.
Yes.
An ecosystem can be visualized as a functional unit of nature where living organisms interact among themselves and also with the surrounding physical environment.
Yes, this is
Ecosystem
the
varies.
definition. Just a minute. This is the definition of the ecosystem, right? So if they ask you what is the ecosystem and define ecosystem, so this is the definition of the ecosystem, right? So living organism, where the living organism interact with the surrounding environment, that is the physical environment, right? Surrounding physical environment. Okay. Yeah.
Ecosystem varies greatly in size from a small pond to a large forest or a sea. Many ecologists regard the entire biosphere as a global ecosystem, as a composite of all local ecosystems on Earth. Since the system is too much big and complex to be studied at one time, it is convenient to divide it into two basic categories, namely terrestrial and the aquatic.
Right.
Forest,
So see,
grassland.
just a minute, just a minute. So the entire Earth can be understood as a global ecosystem, right? And many scientists do agree that yes, entire Earth is the globe, but this is too large. Earth is too large. So what we do, so this composite ecosystem can be divided into two different parts, right? For the convenience of our study. So terrestrial ecosystem में divide कर दिया, and another is the aquatic ecosystem. Okay, yeah.
Forests, grasslands, and deserts are some examples of terrestrial ecosystem. Pond, lake, wetland, river, and estuaries are some examples of aquatic ecosystem. Crop field and an aquarium may also be considered as a man-made ecosystem.
Yes, this is important line, right? ये पूछेगा कि क्रॉप फील्ड क्या है, कौन सा इकोसिस्टम है? सो क्रॉप फील्ड इज द मैन मेड इकोसिस्टम, लाइक एक्वेरियम है ना, ये मैन मेड इकोसिस्टम का एग्जांपल है, एग्जाम में पूछा हुआ भी क्वेश्चन है, राइट? या
We will first look at the structure of the ecosystem in order to appreciate the input productivity, transfer of the energy food chain, web nutrient cycle, and the output degradation and energy loss. We will also look at the relationship cycles, chains, webs that are created as a result of these energy flow within the system and their interrelationship.
yes. So in this chapter what we discuss the different components of the ecosystem. So how the input, I mean energy, has been introduced into the ecosystem, right, by the producers. They synthesize, they photosynthesize, and then they produce carbohydrate. Then how this energy has been transferred through the food chain, food web, nutrient cycle, that we discussed. Then output, when after the death and decay of the organisms, so what happens to them, so how the energy will flow. So degradation and energy loss we discuss, right? And finally we also discuss the relationship between the different cycles, chains, I mean food chain, they come together to form the food web, right? So relationship among them we also discuss in this chapter, right? So now at least the skeleton is ready for us. So first of all we discuss the ecosystem structure and function. So what is the structure and then what is the function of an ecosystem? Okay, start.
In chapter 13, you have looked at the various components of the environment, abiotic and biotic. You studied how the individual biotic and abiotic factors affected each other and their surrounding. Let us look at these components in a more integrated manner and see how the flow of the energy takes place within these components of the ecosystem.
Yes. Okay, so
Interaction of
abiotic
biotic and
factors are there. Abiotic and biotic two factors are there. And here we just discussed the how the abiotic factors will influence the biotic factors, or how the biotic factors will interact with the surrounding abiotic factors, right? Yeah.
interaction of biotic and abiotic components results in a physical structure that is characteristic for each type of ecosystem. Identification and enumeration of plant and animal species of an ecosystem gives its species composition. Vertical distribution of different species occupying different level is called stratification. For example, trees occupy top vertical strata or layer of a forest. Shrub the second and the and grasses occupy the bottom layers.
Yes. Okay. So see the interaction of the biotic and the abiotic composition, they finally constitute the physical structure, right? And that physical structure is the characteristic of each and every type of ecosystem, right? I mean, the core thing is the interaction between the biotic and abiotic factor, right? So interaction of biotic and abiotic factor is essential for the construction of the ecosystem, right? Okay. So here the n number of plants and animals are there, and they interact together to form the ecosystem, right? If we look at the vertical distribution of the species occupying on the different levels, I mean vertical level, I mean when you go on to the hill, right? So you will see the different species, they are growing on the different heights of the plants, right? Okay. If you look at a forest में यदि आप देखो तो what you see in the forest, the different heighted plants are there. Some plants are very tall and they are using most of the sunlight that is coming from the sun, right? In that area, in that particular area, right? Below that, those plants are there which can photosynthesize much efficiently than that of those tall plants because they are getting very scanty amount of sunlight, right? फिर उसके नीचे और भी छोटे प्लांट होंगे, फिर नीचे grasses होंगे. Grasses are very efficiently doing photosynthesis because very less amount of sunlight will be available for them, right? So this kind of vertical distribution is called stratification. What they call? So क्या बोलते हैं? Stratification बोलते हैं. Okay. So different stratas are there in a forest, right? Like the tall trees, then shrubs, herbs, right? Then grasses, right? They occupy the bottom, right? So these are the stratification. And now we look at the components of the ecosystem. So as we understood, the ecosystem is nothing but the functional unit, right? So these functional units are made up of 4 different components, or following aspects can be considered when we construct the ecosystem, right? So productivity is the first and foremost requirement, right? Then decomposition, this is another requirement, right? Then energy flow, how the energy will flow from the one trophic level to the another trophic level, or we can simply say the level here first, right? How the energy will transfer from the producer to the consumer, right? And how the nutrient cycle will run. So we discuss these different components one by one, right? So you start reading from here.
To understand the ethos of an aquatic ecosystem, let us take a small pond as an example. This is fairly a self-sustainable unit and rather simple example that explains even the complex interaction that exists in an aquatic ecosystem. A pond is a shallow water body in which all the above-mentioned 4 basic components of an ecosystem are well exhibited. The abiotic component is the water with all the dissolved inorganic and organic substances, and the rich soil deposited at the bottom of the pond. The solar input, the cycle of temperature, day length, and other climatic conditions regulate the rate of function of the entire pond. The autotrophic components include the phytoplankton, some algae, and the floating, submerged, and marginal plants found at the edge. The consumers are represented by the zooplankton, the free-swimming and bottom-dwelling forms. The decomposers are the fungi, bacteria, flagellates, especially abundant in the bottom of the pond. This system performs all the function of an ecosystem and of the biosphere as whole. That is, conversion of inorganic into organic material with the help of the radiant energy of the sun by autotrophs, consumption of autotrophs by heterotrophs, decomposition and mineralization of the dead matter to release them back for reuse by the autotrophs. These events are repeated over and over again. There is unidirectional movement of energy towards the higher trophic levels and its dissipation and loss as a heat to the environment.
Yes. So पूरा का पूरा gist यहाँ पे दिया हुआ है what we going to study. So they are giving just a pond ecosystem, very small ecosystem, which is self-sustainable. See, the aquarium is not self-sustainable. That is man-made ecosystem, because we are not keeping them into the sunlight for the photosynthesis, and no plants are there, right? But a small pond, even a very small pond, is an example of a self-sustainable ecosystem. So all the four basic components are present over there in the pond, right? So what are the components? Productivity. So producers are there, right? So before producer, we should throw light on the abiotic factor first. So abiotic factors here are the sunlight, the solar input is very important, the first abiotic factor. The cycle of temperature is another abiotic factor, the day length, other climatic conditions. So these are the abiotic factor which are regulating the pond ecosystem, right? And this sunlight, which is nothing but the energy, a form of energy, right, comes in the form of photon. So those photons are captured by the autotrophic component of the pond ecosystem. Like in the pond, the phytoplanktons are there, algae are there, green algae, blue-green algae, cyanobacteria, right? They are floating on the surface, right? Apart from that, some submerged plants are there, जो pond के अंदर में रहता है, right? The very small portion, they can be on the surface of the water, but वो उसके रूट पूरे के पूरे नीचे होंगे. Marginal plant, कुछ जो किनारे पे होंगे plants, some marginal plants would be there, found at the edge, right? So they are the autotrophic component, right? They are producer actually. They are responsible for the productivity, right? And then these producers will synthesize carbohydrate, of course, by the process of photosynthesis. They convert the light energy into the bond energy, है ना? Light energy जो है उसको bond carbohydrate में वो change कर देगा. Then these plants or these autotrophic components, phytoplankton or blue-green algae, right, they are consumed by the small zooplanktons, right? Some small fishes may be also there, right? So these zooplanktons, they have their phytoplanktons or the algae, right? So they are the consumers. Some bottom dwelling animals like snail or some other animals, they are free swimming at the bottom, they are dwelling, and they are also the consumers. So they consume, right? They are consumers, right? But whether it is consumer or producer, they are living organisms, so certainly they will die, right? Death is the characteristic feature of the living organism, we can say, right? So certainly they die. So what happens after the death? So the biologically we can say the living organisms, they are having the organic substances. They are rich in the organic substance. I mean, carbohydrate the plants are synthesizing, so that is organic compound. The phytoplanktons, zooplanktons, whatever, I mean, whatever autotrophic organisms are there, they are converting the solar energy into the bond energy or the organic component. And then these organic components, I mean, the producers have by the consumers, right? So again, the consumers will convert that bond energy into another organic form, right? But organic substances बनाएंगे. And after death, these organic substances will be decayed, right? Since what we do actually, see, सबसे पहले inorganic substances हैं. Inorganic substances like we can say the water, CO2, इन सबको लेके क्या किया प्लांट ने, क्या बना दिया? Carbohydrate. This is the organic substance, right? So inorganic substance becomes now organic substance, right? Organic substance. So again, the consumers will have this organic substances, and the organic substances, maybe they transform only, right? But organic substances will be there in the animals also, or the consumers also. But finally, after the death of plants and animals, living being, these organic substances again revert back to the nature in the form of inorganic substances. Again, फिर से इसको inorganic बनाना होगा, right? inorganic substances में convert करने होंगे. So this conversion, this inorganic substances has been made by the some decomposer organisms, and decomposers are fungi, bacteria, and flagellates, right? Flagellated animals or flagellated organisms, right? So these are the chief decomposers, right? And mostly they are, you know, present at the bottom of the pond. If we talk about the pond ecosystem, we are talking the pond ecosystem. So these decomposers are found at the bottom of the pond. And what they do, so they convert the organic substances into the inorganic substances, right? So this system performs all functions of any ecosystem and of the biosphere, right? So as a whole, what we do, the conversion of the inorganic into the organic, जो हमने ऊपर लिखा, material with the help of radiant energy, जो photosynthesis हो रही है उसके through कर रहा है, right? Sun by the autotrophic organisms. Then consumption of the autotrophs by the heterotrophs, consumption किया autotroph का किसने, heterotroph में. And then again the decomposers, what they do, they again break down the organic substances into the inorganic matters, right? So the heterotrophs and the decomposition and mineralization of the dead matter to release them back into the atmosphere or for the autotrophs, right? Autotroph के लिए फिर से वो back कर देगा. So this event are repeated over and over again. ये हमेशा होते रहता है, चलते रहता है, cycle चलते रहती है, right? And that is called nutrient cycle. We discuss later on, right? So here, okay, no problem. The cycle is going on, keep on going. But one thing which is always there is the transfer of energy, right? Energy is always transferred from the higher trophic level to the next trophic level, right? And this energy transfer is always unidirectional, एक ही direction, back ये नहीं होती है. Ecosystem में कभी back energy नहीं होगी. This transfer is always unidirectional. So there is unidirectional movement of energy towards the higher trophic level and its dissipation and loss as heat to the environment, right? Higher trophic level, I mean the producers are at the lower trophic level, right? So always the energy has been transferred from the producer to the consumer, consumers to the, and consumers, we again divide them into the primary, secondary, tertiary consumers, right? Then decomposers, right? So the energy will always transfer from the lower to the higher trophic level, okay? And this transfer is unidirectional because of the unidirectional transfer, right? So this is the gist of the entire chapter. So now we discuss the producer, right? Again, the datas and the different informations are there, so we should note it down. Those informations are very important for us. They are asking in the exam, right, directly those informations they are asking. So you start reading productivity. So,
Productivity. A constant input of solar energy is the basic requirement for any ecosystem to function and sustain. Primary production is defined as the amount of biomass or organic matter produced per unit area over a time period by plant during photosynthesis. It is expressed in terms of weight, gram per meter square, or energy, kilocalorie per meter square. The rate of the biomass production is called productivity. It is expressed in terms of gram
per meter square per year.
Per meter square per year or kilocalorie per meter square year inverse to compare the productivity of different ecosystems. It can be divided into gross primary productivity GPP and net primary productivity NPP.
Okay, just a minute. यहाँ पे रुक जाओ. Okay. See, यहाँ पे दो तीन informations हैं और ये पूछा हुआ question है in fact, right? So the solar energy is transformed into the bond energy that we know, right, by the producers. So here the producers, they produces carbohydrate, right? And the primary production is defined as the amount of biomass, क्या है, amount of biomass or organic matter produced per unit area per unit time, right? Per unit area per unit time, एक खास टाइम पीरियड में कितना कार्बोहाइड्रेट, कितना ऑर्गेनिक सब्सटेंस बना रहा है, दैट इज कॉल्ड प्राइमरी प्रोडक्टिविटी, राइट? प्लांट्स बनाते हैं फोटोसिंथेसिस के थ्रू, राइट? So primary productivity or primary production is nothing but the organic matter or the biomass produced per unit area per unit time over time, right? एक particular समय में कितना कार्बोहाइड्रेट बना एक पर्टिकुलर एरिया में, ओके, दैट इज द प्राइमरी प्रोडक्ट। एक्सप्रेस कैसे करेंगे भाई? एक्सप्रेस को वेट में करते हैं, कितना वेट बना, कितना ग्राम या फिर केजी, तो यहाँ पे ग्राम में हम यूनिट ले रहे हैं, तो ग्राम पर मीटर स्क्वायर कैसे हम करेंगे? यदि हम वेट ले रहे हैं तो ग्राम पर मीटर स्क्वायर, ये ध्यान रखना। या फिर एनर्जी के फॉर्म में भी हम इसको डिफाइन कर सकते हैं, तो किलो कैलोरी पर मीटर स्क्वायर इन अ गिवन टाइम, राइट? जैसे बोलेंगे ना प्रोडक्टिविटी पर ईयर, राइट? कितना होगा? तो किलो कैलोरी पर मीटर स्क्वायर में एनर्जी के फॉर्म में यदि हम कर रहे हैं, इफ वी एक्सप्रेस इन टर्म्स ऑफ वेट, देन इट इज ग्राम पर मीटर स्क्वायर, राइट? ओके, द रेट ऑफ बायोमास प्रोडक्शन इज कॉल्ड प्रोडक्टिविटी। इसको हम क्या बोल देंगे? प्रोडक्टिविटी। द रेट ऑफ बायोमास प्रोडक्शन इज कॉल्ड प्रोडक्टिविटी, ठीक है? ओके, तो प्रोडक्टिविटी को कैसे आप एक्सप्रेस करोगे? द रेट ऑफ बायोमास प्रोडक्शन, तो इसको हम क्या कर देंगे? पर ईयर जो प्रोडक्टिविटी है, बायोमास, ये हो गया प्रोडक्शन, ये हो गया अमाउंट, राइट? इसलिए हम यहाँ पे कहीं पे समय, टाइम नहीं लगाए हैं, ग्राम पर मीटर स्क्वायर, कितना ग्राम एक पर्टिकुलर एरिया में बना, राइट? बट हियर दिस इज द रेट हम यहाँ पे बोल रहे हैं, तो लगाते हैं dN/dt, हमेशा टाइम के रिस्पेक्ट में हम रेट को करते हैं कैलकुलेट। सो रेट ऑफ बायोमास प्रोडक्शन को हम लोग क्या बोल रहे हैं? प्रोडक्टिविटी। ध्यान रखना, ये पूछेगा ऐसे सिंपली कि रेट ऑफ बायोमास प्रोडक्शन इज नथिंग बट द प्रोडक्टिविटी, ओके? सो इट इज डिफाइंड इन टर्म्स ऑफ ईयर के टर्म में हम इसको डिफाइन करते हैं। कैसे? तो जैसे वहां पे हमने प्राइमरी प्रोडक्शन को डिफाइन किया था ग्राम पर मीटर स्क्वायर, तो ग्राम पर मीटर स्क्वायर पर ईयर। या फिर एनर्जी के टर्म में करो, तो यहाँ पे जो किलो कैलोरी पर मीटर स्क्वायर है, तो किलो कैलोरी पर मीटर स्क्वायर पर ईयर, ओके? ये क्या होगी? प्रोडक्टिविटी। प्रोडक्टिविटी का मतलब क्या होगा? रेट ऑफ बायोमास प्रोडक्शन। और ऑफ कोर्स रेट हम लिख रहे हैं तो ईयर के टाइम के रिस्पेक्ट में हम देंगे, ओके? ऑल राइट, so to compare the productivity of the different ecosystem, the productivity is again divided into two forms, two different types, the GPP and NPP, gross primary productivity and net primary productivity, that is called NPP, ठीक है? gross primary productivity and net primary productivity, okay? लेकिन जो ग्रॉस का मतलब ये होता है कि ग्रॉस मतलब पूरा, जैसे सपोज अ पर्सन हु इज अर्निंग 100 रुपीज, राइट? 100 रुपीज हमने अर्न किया, राइट? और 100 रुपीज अर्न करने के बाद हमारे कुछ पैसे कट के ऐसे करके और 80 रुपीज हमारे अकाउंट में जमा होते हैं, राइट? सो दिस इज कॉल्ड ग्रॉस प्राइमरी प्रोडक्टिविटी। आप ये ग्रॉस कितनी है उसकी सैलरी? तो 100 रुपीज, राइट? नेट सैलरी कितनी है? तो दिस इज कॉल्ड नेट प्राइमरी प्रोडक्टिविटी, दिस इज NPP, राइट? ओके, एंड फ्रॉम दिस NPP वन शुड यूटिलाइज, राइट, फॉर देयर एसेंशियल रिक्वायरमेंट्स। इट्स 80 रुपीज में उसको खाना भी तो खाना है। सपोज 20 रुपीज they spend in the essential commodities, purchase the essential commodities, जिसके बिना काम नहीं चल रहा है, तो हम इसे -20 कर देंगे, राइट? 20 रुपीज, राइट? So this 20 rupees is essential for their survival. पानी पीना है, बिना पानी पिए तो ये हम कमा ही नहीं सकते हैं, तो पानी पीने के लिए हमने 20 रुपये खर्च कर दिए, दिस इज एसेंशियल। इसी तरह से लिविंग ऑर्गेनिजम्स, दे रिक्वायर और दे आर हैविंग द रेस्पिरेटरी लॉस ऑलवेज। रेस्पिरेशन में हम लोग कोई भी फंक्शन को परफॉर्म करते हैं तो सेलुलर रेस्पिरेशन होती है। सेलुलर रेस्पिरेशन में हम ATP खर्च करते हैं, राइट? बनाते भी हैं ऑफ कोर्स, बट यहाँ पे जो लॉस होती है इन द फॉर्म ऑफ हीट और इन द फॉर्म अदर फॉर्म, राइट, सो दैट इज कॉल्ड आर। तो उसको हम क्या बोल देते हैं, आर, रेस्पिरेटरी लॉस बोल देते हैं, राइट। मतलब क्या हुआ कि ये जो हम जीपीपी बोल रहे हैं, ग्रॉस प्राइमरी प्रोडक्टिविटी, राइट, और नेट प्राइमरी प्रोडक्टिविटी, नेट क्या हुआ, नेट में हमने ये 20 माइनस कर दिया, राइट। तो we can, I mean, this is the essential thing which is without which the process cannot be executed, right। तो हम यहाँ पे ऐसा लिख सकते हैं कि NPP फिर क्या है, नेट प्राइमरी प्रोडक्टिविटी क्या है कि जो एसेंशियल आइटम्स हैं, लाइक एसेंशियल आइटम इज रेस्पिरेशन हियर, राइट। सो ग्रॉस जितना कार्बोहाइड्रेट बना रहा है, प्लांट ने जितनी कार्बोहाइड्रेट बनाई, सपोज उसने 100 kg कार्बोहाइड्रेट बनाया है, इन 100 kg कार्बोहाइड्रेट बनाने के लिए जो एनर्जी उसने स्पेंड किया इन द फॉर्म ऑफ हीट, इन द फॉर्म ऑफ ATP, दैट इज 20 kg, एंड दैट इज नथिंग बट द रेस्पिरेटरी लॉस। वो क्या है उसका कि जो एसेंशियल आइटम और एसेंशियल जो बेसिक रिक्वायरमेंट है सेल के, उसको चलाने के लिए जो उसने खर्च किया, दैट इज द R, रेस्पिरेटरी लॉस। सो NPP इज इक्वल्स टू GPP माइनस R। ओके, ठीक है। इसमें तीनों में से किसी को कैलकुलेट करना हो तो if 2 is given then we can calculate, okay, this is the formula। so the net primary productivity is GPP minus R, R is the respiratory loss, right। so net primary productivity is available biomass for the consumption, और consumer के लिए क्या available होगा, तो NPP। so NPP is available for next trophic level, राइट। ये नेक्स्ट ट्रॉफिक लेवल के लिए अवेलेबल होगा। मतलब नेक्स्ट ट्रॉफिक लेवल का मतलब क्या हो गया भैया, तो कंज्यूमर, ये कंज्यूमर के लिए अवेलेबल हो गया, ओके, हेट्रोट्रॉप्स के लिए अवेलेबल हो गया, ओके। सो दिस इज अवेलेबल फॉर द हेट्रोट्रॉप्स, राइट। सो द हेट्रोट्रॉप्स, कंजम्पशन टू द हेट्रोट्रॉप्स, राइट, हर्बीवोर्स, डिकम्पोजर्स, इन सब के लिए हो गया, right। तो here there is another term that is called secondary productivity, and secondary productivity is defined as the rate of transformation of new organic matters by the consumer। see यहाँ पे क्या हो, primary productivity जो plant ने बनाया by the photosynthesis, right, but after photosynthesis some energy has been lost in the form of R, so finally the NPP has been formed, net primary productivity। so consumers have those NPP, वो 80 kg जो बचा कार्बोहाइड्रेट वो कंज्यूमर ने खाया, और वो कंज्यूमर खाने के बाद कंज्यूमर ने उसकी कुछ बहुत सारा एनर्जी लॉस करेगी इन दैट ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन और दैट कन्वर्जन, बट द ऑर्गेनिक मैटर विच इज मेड बाय द और कंज्यूमर्स आर कॉल्ड सेकेंडरी प्रोडक्टिविटी। तो सेकेंडरी प्रोडक्टिविटी में क्या बोल रहे हैं, सेकेंडरी प्रोडक्टिविटी इज डिफाइंड एज द रेट ऑफ फॉर्मेशन ऑफ न्यू ऑर्गेनिक मैटर बाय द कंज्यूमर्स, ठीक है, किस रेट से कंज्यूमर्स एनर्जी बना रहे हैं, दैट इज कॉल्ड सेकेंडरी प्रोडक्टिविटी, ठीक है। सो प्राइमरी प्रोडक्टिविटी डिपेंड्स अपॉन द प्लांट स्पीसीज, विच काइंड ऑफ प्लांट इनहेबिटिंग इन अ पर्टिकुलर एरिया, इन अ पर्टिकुलर इकोसिस्टम, राइट। इट ऑल्सो डिपेंड्स अपॉन द डिफरेंट इन्वायरमेंटल फैक्टर्स, कि वहाँ पे कितनी धूप होती है, पहले तो क्या है किस तरह के प्लांट स्पीसीज है उस पर डिपेंड करता है, देन इन्वायरमेंटल फैक्टर वहाँ पे कैसी है, कितनी न्यूट्रिएंट्स अवेलेबल है, राइट, अवेलेबल न्यूट्रिएंट्स, आई मीन सॉइल में इनऑर्गेनिक सब्सटेंसेस कितने हैं, फोटोसिंथेटिक कैपेसिटी क्या है उस प्लांट की, राइट। सो देयरफॉर इट वेरीज इन द डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ द इकोसिस्टम, किसी इकोसिस्टम की बहुत ज़्यादा प्राइमरी प्रोडक्टिविटी होती है, किसी की कम होती है। जैसे यहाँ पे एक एग्जाम्पल दिया और हमको याद रखना चाहिए, the annual net primary productivity of the whole biosphere, मतलब complete earth का is approximately 170 billion ton। complete biosphere, अर्थ पे कितना बनता है कार्बोहाइड्रेट, एनुअल प्राइमरी प्रोडक्टिविटी की हम बात करें, दैट इज 170 बिलियन टन of organic matter। so of this, despite occupying about 70% ऑफ ऑन द सरफेस, देखो ये ध्यान रखना 70% टेरेस्टेरियल होती है, मतलब ये जो 170 बिलियन बन रहा है 70% कहाँ बनती है, अर्थ पे, राइट। 70% of the productivity on the surface, ये surface पे. The productivity of the ocean are only 55 billion ton. ओशन का कितना है? Only 55 billion ton. ये बिलियन टन के फॉर्म में दिया हुआ है. Only 55 billion tons, right? Rest of course on land, right? ध्यान रहेगा. 70% on the surface. Despite occupying about the 70% जो है 170% जो बायोस्फीयर में बनती है कार्बोहाइड्रेट, that is on the surface, right? Productivity of the ocean is only 55 billion ton. 170 में से बोल रहा है, right? 55 billion ton, okay? And rest of course is on land, right? Discuss the main reason for the low productivity in the ocean with your teacher. ये अब क्वेश्चन है यहाँ पे कि मतलब जीस्ट इज दैट, सी पहले ऐसा बोला जाता था कि ओशन में ज्यादा प्रोडक्टिविटी होती है, बट अभी जो नए रिसर्च है बोल रहे हैं कि नहीं, ओशन से ज्यादा लैंड पे होती है. 70% लैंड पे प्रोडक्टिविटी होती है, ओशन में बहुत कम होती है. ओनली 55 बिलियन. एंड 55 बिलियन की हम यदि बात करें तो 30% के आसपास हुआ है ना. 30% के आसपास ओशन में होता है. 70% कहाँ पे हुआ? लैंड में, और 30% ओशन में. तो और वो 30% 55 बिलियन टन होती है. तो कारण क्या है कि क्योंकि इन द ओशन द सनलाइट कैनॉट पेनिट्रेट इनटू द डीप. 200-300 मीटर, हार्डली 500 मीटर, बहुत ज्यादा से ज्यादा 500 मीटर तक सनलाइट पेनिट्रेट कर सकता है, उससे ज्यादा कर ही नहीं सकता है. तो जो डीप सी में होता है बिल्कुल अंधेरा होता है, राइट, डार्क होता है. ओके, so there even though some organisms are there, but they are not photosynthetic, right? So that's why the rate of photosynthesis is low, or the primary productivity is low in the ocean as compared to the land. Okay, so that's it today.